They say shadows never lie. But what if I told you there's a place in India where even the truth casts no shadow? This temple defies the sun itself. I was 16 when my history teacher said, it's the only temple in the world where the shadow of the main tower never touches the ground. But how is that even possible? A giant 216-foot granite tower, standing tall under the blazing Tamil Nadu sun and no shadow. Years later, I finally stood in front of it. I circled it, morning, noon, and even as the sun began to set, no shadow. My science-loving brain wanted logic, but my heart, it knew I had stumbled upon something. Ancient, divine, and deeply human, built over 1,000 years ago by Raja Chola, this temple wasn't just a place of worship. It was an architectural miracle, built without modern tools, yet aligned so perfectly with the sun that its shadow never touches the ground. But here's the part that broke me. The king who built it didn't even carve his name on its walls. Instead, he engraved the names of every single worker, sculptor, and artisan who made it possible. He knew, you don't need a shadow to leave a legacy, just humility and vision. In a world obsessed with fame, likes, and recognition, there stands a temple that teaches us, you don't need to be seen to make history. You just need to build something timeless. Because even a temple with no shadow still lights up 1,000 hearts. What if I told you that concepts like gravity, the speed of light, and atomic theory were written down, not in a lab, but on palm leaves over 5,000 years ago, and you've probably never heard of it? When I was a kid, my dad handed me this tattered Sanskrit book. I rolled my eyes. Another mythological bedtime story. But he smiled and said, this isn't mythology. This is science. The book was the Rig Veda. I flipped through verses I didn't understand until I saw something crazy. A verse describing the exact speed of light. Not an estimate. Exact. 7 times 2,202 yojanas in half a nimesha. Translated, that's 186,000 miles per second, just like modern physics. This wasn't just spiritual poetry, this was a time machine made of words. I felt something stir inside me. How could ancient rishis sitting in forests without telescopes or calculators know this? The Rig Veda, the Samhitas, the Upanishads, the Surya Siddhanta, they weren't just religious texts, they were manuals of the universe. They spoke about the atom being indivisible, the solar system's orbital paths, even the multiverse. And yet in school, I was taught Newton, Einstein, Bohr, never Aryabhata, never Canada, who spoke of atoms 2,500 years before Dalton. It hurt because somewhere along the way, we stopped believing our ancestors could be scientists. We buried our genius under the label of myth. Maybe it's time to unlearn what we were told, to rediscover the brilliance that existed right here in India thousands of years ago. Not to reject modern science, but to realize our past didn't need to borrow genius. It was genius. What if I told you India has its own secret society, older than the Illuminati, smarter than any government agency, and you'll never know their names? They're called the 9 Unknown Men, and they may still be watching us. When I was 16, I stumbled upon an old diary in my grandfather's attic. Dusty, torn, but one page was circled in red ink. It said, "Truth isn't hidden, it's protected." That line haunted me. Later I found out my grandfather was obsessed with the legend of the 9 Unknown Men. Founded by Emperor Ashoka after the bloody Kalinga War, he realized knowledge is more dangerous than weapons. So he formed a secret council, 9 men, each entrusted with a book on topics like time travel, bioweapons, psychological warfare, and even anti-gravity. Think about it. India, thousands of years ago, already had knowledge that we call futuristic today. What if they discovered things so powerful they couldn't risk it falling into the wrong hands? We often say India was ahead of its time, but maybe India never left its time. Maybe the 9 still exist, operating in silence, preserving what the world isn't ready for. We chase likes and algorithms, while someone, somewhere, may be safeguarding the code to reality itself. You've never seen them, you never will. But when the world edges toward chaos, somehow a solution appears. Coincidence or a quiet whisper from the shadows? Maybe it's time we stop searching outside for answers and look within the stories we dismissed as legends, because some secrets aren't meant to be exposed, they are meant to protect us. So tell me, do you believe the nine are still out there, or are they watching you right now? They say nothing lasts forever, but there's a pillar in India that laughs in the face of time. 1,600 years, rain, sun, pollution, and still no rust. Modern scientists, confused, metallurgists, speechless. But to an old man I met near Qutub Minar, it wasn't science, it was a message. A few years ago, I was in Delhi, burnt out, lost, questioning my entire path in life. Career, stalled, dreams, slipping. I went to Qutub Minar just to escape my thoughts. That's when I saw it. An iron pillar, older than most countries, standing proud. People were walking past it like it was just another relic, but something about it pulled me in. I met an elderly historian nearby. He said, "Beta, this pillar, it's not famous for how it stands. It's famous for how it survives. No modern coating, no paint, just an ancient formula, a forgotten alchemy of phosphorus, purity, and soul." He looked me dead in the eye and whispered, "When you're built with the right elements, life can't corrode you." It hit me like lightning. I didn't need to be flashy or perfect. I just had to be true to my core. Today, science still can't decode that pillar completely, but maybe it was never about science. Maybe it's a symbol, a reminder that if you stand with strength, purpose, and purity, no storm, no rust, no time can destroy you. So ask yourself, what are you made of? Tag someone who needs to hear this. There's a door in India that hasn't been opened in over 1,000 years, and legend says if it's forced open, disaster will follow. But here's the eerie part. What's behind it might rewrite history itself. I used to think temples were just places of worship, until I visited the Padmanabhaswamy temple in Kerala. This place isn't just ancient, it hides something unexplainable. Back in 2011, treasure worth over $20 billion was discovered behind 5 sealed vaults. Gold, jewels, ancient artifacts. But there's one door, Vault B, still sealed shut, not by lock or chain, but by mystery. They say only a man who can chant the Garuda mantra with divine perfection can open it. Locals believe the door is guarded by a curse. In fact, when the Indian government tried to open it with machines, snakes slithered out. Technicians refused to go near it again. Some believe the door leads to another realm. Others say it holds the biggest untold truth about India's lost civilization. But for me, it became more than just a mystery. It became a mirror. If our ancestors could bury such secrets with such precision, what else have we forgotten? Our roots, our identity, our power. Maybe the treasure inside isn't gold, but knowledge. Maybe unlocking that door means unlocking who we truly are. So the question isn't what's behind the door, it's are we ready to know? Follow for more untold stories from the corners of forgotten India.